Hello, my sweet peeps. It's Monica, also known as Sleeved after 60, 50. Whoa. Sleeved after 60, and I'm coming to you with a follow-up to the What Are We Making Room For? I got interesting feedback on that video, which I knew, of course, because you're all so smart. And the part two of this is just a little more food for thought. A lot of you talked about health and about being more available to your family members, to your children, to your partners, which is just lovely. What I was surprised about, and this is something to think about, I was surprised that no one said anything, and it might just be who follows me, that, you might tend to be a little older and more in a relationship or what, but nobody really said anything about making room for love in your life. I just think that's kind of interesting. So that's something that I'm hoping that some of you will think about. You don't have to be single to make room for love in your life. And just thinking about how the weight loss is going to change your relationship. Woman, man, children, just love in your life. It doesn't necessarily mean romantic, but it could be. Because one of the things that I found with my struggle with weight loss, and how I chased the scale, was that I really had a hard time being present. And by that I mean that my thinking about my weight and my obsession, compulsion, all of those Ishin's words were such that I had a really hard time being present. And so I remember I just went through some of my notes that I took when I was in treatment. One of the things that I wrote down, and you have to remember I'm not that smart. So sometimes when I say something, even though it's part of my saying or my vocabulary, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's me. It may very well have been that somebody else said it when I was in treatment, or that I read it somewhere. So don't go making me smarter than I am, because I'm not that smart. Oh, kindness and grace. I am smart. But something that I wrote was, we mistake the longing to be loved for the longing to be thin. Think about that. And let's see, let's give it a couple of weeks for you to think about this. What do you think about that? We mistake the longing to be loved for the longing to be thin. Because I think that there's a lot to be said about that. A lot of us started our issue with food at a very young age, and whether we're able to really communicate that at a time when we were little or not, a lot of it had to do with being loved and the sense of perfection. So let's just talk about that for the next couple of weeks because of the holidays, and see what you think about that. How does that fit in with your thinking? Do you feel sometimes that what your life would be better, or would be more full, if you were able to just set aside that longing to be thin, and be able to work with a love relationship? And again, doesn't necessarily have to be, it doesn't always have to be romantic, because whether it be the love that you have with your children, or with your parents, or with your work, but just love of self. And let me know, okay? Thank you. Bye-bye. Hey, kindness and grace, kindness and grace. It's that time of the year where kindness and grace is really difficult for self. So buy yourself something if you need. Tell yourself what a cutie you are, and be kind to yourself because you really need it this time of year. Ciao.